Hello everyone, I am Mohit Ahmed Siddiqui and this is the very first live online session of F2 Management Accounting paper. Actually, this is a demo session and introductory session. So before I start, let me give you an introduction about myself. My name is Mohit Ahmed Siddiqui. I hold the ACCA affiliate status. I have passed all the exams of the ACCA qualification, and I am teaching students of various professional qualifications like ACCA and SEMA. I also work as an auditor. I also work as an auditor and accountant, and I have an experience of audit and accounts of several years. Now, let's just quickly move on to the topic. In this class, I will explain what actually is management accounting, and I will look at few important concepts, fundamental concepts that you need to understand before actually starting the actual management accounting subject. So, what is management accounting? As you can see on the screen, the definition says management accounting is the type of accounting that provides information to managers for decision making, planning, and control. So, actually, management accounting, when we speak of management accounting is that branch of accounting that provides what? That provides information to managers for decision making, planning, and control. So, first, we need to understand what is information. What is information? So let's move on to the next slide. Data and information. These two terms, data and information, I am pretty much sure that you should have come across these two terms. You should have come across these two terms quite often, data and information. And you should have observed the fact that these two terms are used interchangeably, one in place of another. Uh, One in place of another. These two terms are normally used interchangeably in our routine life. Now, what is data? Data is the raw form. Data is something meaningless, whereas information is the processed data. Now, for example, just wait a minute. Okay, then. Data and information. So, data is something meaningless, whereas information is the processed form of data. Now, for example, I say 5 wickets. 5 wickets. What do I mean by 5 wickets? But if I say a bowler has taken 5 wickets in an innings, this is something that makes sense. So, only thing 5 wickets, this is data. But 5 wickets in an innings, 5 wickets taken by a bowler in a match, this is uh, information. This is something meaningful. This is something that you are able to understand. Now, on this slide, you can see that there is an example already mentioned. Researchers who conduct market research surveys might ask members of the public to complete questionnaires about a product or service. These completed questionnaires are data. They are processed and analyzed in order to prepare a report on the survey. This completed report is information and may be used by the management for decision making purpose. So, only requiring people to complete questionnaires, only getting questionnaires complete is not enough. Definitely, this is something incomplete. But when these questionnaires when these questionnaires are used to prepare a report to be provided to the management, this is information. So this is the difference between the two, data and information. Data is the raw form, but when data is processed, data is used to prepare something useful that can be provided to like managers of business. This is information. So information, there are some characteristics of good information, of valuable information. First of all, the information should be relevant, should not be irrelevant. The information should be relevant for the purpose uh, for which it is produced. For example, if I there are you are working in a company and there is a production manager, there is a production manager in the company, and there is also a finance manager in the company. Now you are required to prepare a report, or let's say different reports are prepared uh, on weekly basis, on daily basis in your organization. So the information required by the production manager, the reports required by the production manager are definitely uh, pretty much different from the information required by the finance manager. Finance manager will be more interested in like finance manager will be more interested in information like you can say finance manager will be more interested in information like how much sales the company actually generated, how much sales the company actually generated in a period, like the cost of uh, certain items, the cost of certain items in the company. So finance manager, here I am trying to explain the point that finance manager will be more interested in the financial information that concerns the monetary values, that concerns the costs, the revenues, the profits made by the company, whereas the production manager will be more interested in the production reports, like number of defective items produced in the production department, number of defective items produced in the production department, the quantity of raw material required, quantity of raw material, quantity of raw material required each month. So production, the information needed by the production manager will definitely not be the information that is relevant for the production manager will definitely not be very useful for the finance manager, as both have different roles. So information should be, first of all, the information should be relevant for the people, for the users to whom it is communicated. Now moving forward, just wait a minute. Moving forward, the information should be complete. The information should be complete. Now for example, uh, if information is not complete, if information is not complete, information is incomplete, then definitely it is likely to be less useful. It will definitely not be very valuable, because the information that is communicated should also be complete. We should be able to we should be able to provide complete information. An example of complete information could be like a politician, for example, a politician makes an statement, a politician makes an statement in the media, uh, makes a statement in the media. Now if the media, for example, does not communicate to the public the entire statement, then it could definitely lead to uh, then it could definitely lead to chaos, it could definitely lead to different problems, you can say. Now, for example, the politician says that there should be let's suppose the politician says that the schools in in a region where COVID-19 is spreading, where COVID-19 is spreading, and a politician comes up and makes a statement in the media that uh, like uh, that the schools should be reopened, the schools should be reopened, but uh, the schools should be reopened when uh, when the pandemic comes under control. But the media states that the politician says that schools should be reopened, schools should be reopened, and does not state the whole, and does not communicate to the public the entire statement made by the politician. Like uh, as the politician said, schools should be reopened when the pandemic comes under control, when the situation comes under control. So this kind of incomplete information, such an incomplete information can definitely lead to different problems, as it will people may become it could lead to definitely, it could damage the reputation of the politician, or it could lead to certain different problems. Now, the information should be accurate, because inaccurate information can definitely lead to losses. For example, one day uh, you wake up and you wake up, and while preparing for going to the office, uh, while preparing for the office, you come to know that one of your friends or associates uh, has died. But when you reach that person's home, you come to know that the information you got was incorrect, and in fact your friend was uh, sleeping, your friend was sleeping, and there was no problem with him. So such kind of information can definitely, such kind of inaccurate information can definitely make you suffer a loss, as you may get absent from the office on that particular day, or you may get late, or you uh, may get late to the office on that day because of the inaccurate information that you received. It can eventually result in a salary reduction on that particular day for you. Clarity, the information should be clear, because for obvious reasons you can understand that if information is not clear, it will definitely not be very it will not be very uh, if information is not clear, then definitely it will not be very understandable. It will make things difficult for the users of information. It will definitely make things difficult for the users of information to understand the information. So information should be clear. Confidence. Now, this particular point relates to the source of information. This particular point relates to source of information. The source of information should be reliable enough that to b- you should be confident that the information received is accurate. For example, you receive information from a very big TV channel like BBC. BBC is an authentic source. BBC is an authentic source, and it is not likely that a news communicated to the public by uh, BBC is incorrect. On the other hand, let's suppose you have a local regional TV channel. So, believing in the news communicated by a small local news channel may be difficult. So the source of information should be authentic, so people can be confident regarding that information. Communication. Now it is important to communicate the information. Now, for example, the weather department, the weather reporting department in a certain country or in a certain city, let's suppose, comes to know that tomorrow there will be heavy rain in the city, but fails to communicate this information to the public. So this means that if information is not communicated to the relevant users, to the people who need that information, uh, if the information is not communicated to the people, uh, to to the relevant people who actually need that information, then that information will definitely be useless. Information should be concise. It means that information should not contain unnecessary unnecessary details, because if information contains unnecessary details, then it will become difficult for the users getting the information to use that information timely. Information should be communicated in time. Like in my previous example, when I said that the weather reporting department in a certain city failed to communicate the information within uh, uh, within the within time. So the information became useless. So information should be communicated uh, within certain time limit. Now the reporting department came to know that tomorrow there will be heavy rain, found out that in 24 hours there will be heavy rain in the city. So it is necessary that this information is communicated within these 24 hours, because after 24 hours this information will become useless. Channel of communication. Now channel of communication is something very important. Let's suppose we are marketing a product, we are like, we want to promote something, we want to promote some kind of a service or a product. For example, take my example, I am a tutor and I want to promote my services. Then the channel that I should choose should be very relevant. It is also called medium of information sometimes. Now, if I want to promote a course that I am teaching, the an appropriate way of communicating this information Facebook, will be Facebook or WhatsApp. But let's suppose I decide to I decide to publish an advertisement of my courses on a I decide to publish an advertisement of my courses uh, in a newspaper, in a local newspaper. Then definitely the local newspaper is not an appropriate channel of communication. It will cost me something to publish the advertisement, and also the information, the advertisement uh, will not uh, be will not be communicated, will not be seen by the students of the ACCA and SEMA qualifications, as most of the students nowadays see advertisements uh, of different teachers and institutes on Facebook and WhatsApp, and not in the newspaper. So as a result of choosing wrong medium of communication, what will happen? I will end up making a loss. Now, cost. Whenever we do some business, there is a principle, there is a principle there is a principle that should not be costs should not be more than the costs should not be more than the benefits. Now, if I am if I gather some information, if I gather some information, if I or let's say if I want to get some kind of information, but the cost of generating that information, cost of gathering that information is way too much, is way higher than the benefits that I can reap, then such kind of information is definitely useless for me. Because in order to make profits, your benefits, when in order to make profits, when we do cost benefit analysis, benefits should be more than the costs. The information should also be user targeted. What does this mean? The information, this means that information should be communicated to the appropriate user. In my very first example of this topic, the example of production manager and finance manager. Now, you have some information. You have some information like you are an employee in the company. You are working at a junior level and you have some information. Now, if that information relates to the finance department, then that information should be forwarded to the finance department, the finance manager. This means this is user targeted information. But uh, what if you send that information instead of finance manager to the production manager? Then this information will not be user targeted. So it is necessary that information should be communicated to the appropriate users of that information. Now, and it should also be easy to use. The information should also be easy to use, because definitely if the information is difficult to use, then it will definitely lose its value. So these are some of the characteristics of information. Now you can remember these characteristics, you can remember these qualities of information using the mnemonic accurate, accurate, A for accuracy, C for completeness, C for clarity, confidence, communication, concise, U for user targeted, R for relevant, A for mm, you can say A for here I am adding something. Just wait a minute. Authenticity. In this particular point, we discussed authenticity of information. The information should be gathered. The information is useful when it is gathered from an authentic source. Like in my example of two TV channels like BBC and a local regional TV channel, authenticity is very important. So A for authenticity, T for timely, again C for channel of communication, C for cost, U for user targeted, E for T for timely, E for easy to use. So using these letters in the word accurate, ACCURATE, you can recall these points about qualities of good information. Moving forward, financial information and non-financial information. What is financial information? Financial information is the information that is that relates to monetary values like cost of something, like revenues, like profits, or like losses. Cost of something, cost of a product. Now a product earns revenues of, let's say, $10,000, and the cost of making the product is, let's say, 7,000, and the profits earned from the product are 3,000. In the same way, a product, let's suppose, is making a loss of $4,000 each month. So all these things are expressed in monetary terms, in terms of currency units, dollars, in money terms. So this is all financial information. Non-financial information does not concern the monetary values. For example, number of products, number of products made by a company, number of defective items produced in a production department, number of products, number of defective items. These are these things are expressed simply in numbers, in number of units, not in monetary terms. So this is non-financial information. Moving forward, these are the three key terms that you will come across throughout your ACCA journey: planning, decision making, and control. Now, what about planning? Plan. Planning, planning or your plan. Planning or your plan. What is planning or your plan? For example, you decide to go on picnic. You decide to go on picnic. This is your plan. This is your plan. Decision making. Now, for example, there are three places: A, B, and C. There are three places that you can go, that you can go for a picnic, like A, B, and C. Now, you have to decide, you have to make a choice out of these three, which place will be more suitable, which place, at which place you can have the most fun. So out of these three you have to decide. This is decision making. So decision making actually involves making choices amongst choosing amongst different alternatives. This is decision making. Decision making is what? Decision making involves choosing amongst different alternatives. Here you have three alternatives and you have to choose one. This is decision making. Now, what is control? What is control? What is control? For example, you decided to spend, or let's say you decide to, when going to, before going to the picnic, you to come back decided to come back before 10 o'clock, before 10 o'clock p.m. You decided to come back before 10 o'clock p.m. You decided to come back before 10 o'clock p.m. You decided to come back before 10 o'clock p.m. But when you came back, you found out that the time was 11 o'clock p.m. It means that you fail to control, you fail to control your activities on the picnic, or for some other reason you did not actually you failed to achieve what you planned to do. So the next time that you will go on picnic, the next time that you will go on picnic, you will be very careful about the timings, the time that you will spend there. So these are the three terms. Please remember these three terms. As I said earlier, when I told you the definition of the management accounting, that management accounting involves providing information to managers for decision making, planning, and control. So these three terms, decision making, planning, and control, these three terms are important, as management accounting is directly related to these three: decision making and planning and control. Moving forward, now, strategy and objectives, strategy of an organization and its objectives. Now, strategy is the course of is the course of action an organization takes. Objective is the aim of an organization. Now, for example, uh, I am running a school. I am running a school, and my objective is to start a university in 5 years time. In 5 years time, I have a vision, I have an objective of starting a university, and I want to convert my school into a university in 5 years time. This is my objective. This is my objective. Starting a university is my objective. The course of action, the the pathway that I will take, the actions that I will take to achieve this objective of mine is my strategy. So these are other two terms, two important terms that you need to understand. I hope that it is enough for tonight's session, and I hope that you like this session. Please let me know. Uh, Please let me know by giving me feedback in the comment section. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. It was Muhid Ahmed Siddiqui from Faisal, and I am available on different social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp. You can contact me if you need any kind of assistance. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.